Hello, I'm Erin. Welcome to Crochet Remedy. Here is your dose of all things crochet from my hook to yours. So I purchased this Stranger Things crochet kit and made the Demogorgon, and I also made 11. Is this crochet kit a buy or a pass? Let's talk about it. So in this video, I'm going to share the things that are included in the kit. I also will share some things that I liked about the kit, things I didn't like. I'll share some modifications that I did to create my version of the Demogorgon and 11. This crochet kit includes everything you need to make 11 and the Demogorgon. The kit includes this 88-page book that is full of illustrations and diagrams to help make 12 characters. So you get two different versions of 11. You get the Demogorgon, Will, Mike, Dustin, Lucas, Max, Steve, Robin, Eddie, and Vecna. This kit includes the following materials: fingering weight yarn in 11 colors, a 2.0 millimeter steel crochet hook, a metal tapestry needle, one pair of black safety eyes, fiberfill stuffing, and craft wire. Here are some additional items that you will need that are not included in the kit. You'll need stitch markers to mark your stitches, either mark the beginning or the end of your round. I like to mark the end of my round. You'll also need scissors just to cut yarn. Straight pins, these are really helpful to use to pin body parts to the amigurumi or to the doll, especially the Demogorgon has lots of petals. So the straight pins came in really handy when I was sewing the petals to the head. And tweezers. You'll need tweezers are really helpful to put stuffing in hard to reach spots of like the arms, legs, fingers of your amigurumi. All of the patterns were designed by Argentine designer Carla Mitrani. Carla Mitrani is famous for her books Iconic Women. I'll show you real quick. Crochet Iconic Women, and then also she has Crochet Zodiac dolls. So she is a well-published crochet designer, and she was the brains behind the designs in the Stranger Things crochet kit. The fiberfill stuffing that came with the kit was really fluffy. It kind of felt like cotton candy. So fiberfill stuffing was pretty good. The tapestry needle was very sharp, very pointy, so I used that to sew the petals onto the Demogorgon. I also used it to sew the arms. So tapestry needle came in really handy for body parts. I also used it to embroider 11's eyes. I chose to embroider her eyes instead of using the safety eyes. I'll still use the safety eyes, but just use it in a different project. I also really like the craft wire that came with the kit. So the craft wire is really for 11's arm. So you don't get a whole lot of craft wire. It's just a little bit to make her arm movable. Also, another thing with this book, you get 12 patterns. This kit retails, I think, for like $25, but I paid $11.72 for the book or for the kit. And really, the star of the kit is the book. The fact that you get 12 patterns for the price that I paid is really a steal. Most crochet patterns are going to run you anywhere from like $4 to $6 per character. So the fact that we get 12 patterns for like $11.72 is really a good deal. Now I got to talk about the things that I didn't like about the Stranger Things crochet kit. And it was two things that I didn't like. The first thing that I disliked was the yarn that came in the kit. This yarn, it's fingering weight yarn, and in my opinion, I thought it was just super fine and way too soft for this project. So I prefer to use cotton yarn because it produces a finished project that is smooth and sturdy with great stitch definition. Acrylic yarn, and that's what this is that came with the kit. It's just too fuzzy for my liking. Something else that I didn't like about the kit is the crochet hook. The hook in the kit is way too flexible. Like, this is metal, but it's very flexible, very bendy, and it also has no grip at all. I prefer to use Clover Moore crochet hooks. So here's one of the hooks. For this project, actually for 11, I used the 2.0 millimeter Clover Moore hook, but for the Demogorgon, I used the Clover Moore 2.25 millimeter hook. I like to use the Clover Moore hooks because of their easy grip handle. It's made of aluminum and it's like super smooth. So the yarn pretty much glides across the hook when you're crocheting. Here is my finished Demogorgon. I used Paintbox Cotton DK for the legs, for the body, and the red petals. I used Hobbii Happy Place for the arms, the head, and the petals. My finished Demogorgon is about 11 inches tall, and I'm really proud of how it turned out. I ran out of yarn, and so I had to use a mix of yarn that I had. I refused to go to the store to or order yarn online. I wanted to use what was in my stash to make the Demogorgon. So really proud of how this turned out, and I'm glad that I chose cotton. Was actually the recommended yarn for the projects in the book. So I thought it was strange that the kit came with acrylic yarn, but in the patterns it suggested that you use cotton. So I chose to use cotton. I knew cotton would give me really good stitch definition and make my project like firm and sturdy. So I made sure that I stuffed it well so that it could stand up and be super sturdy. Here is my version of 11. So for my version of 11, I used Friends Cotton 8.4. And for her dress, I actually used Lion Brand Coboo. I didn't have a pink in Friends Cotton 8.4 this color, so I used what was in my stash, and Lion Coboo was the best choice. So I chose to use that, and it actually worked out pretty well. So I really like how my 11 turned out. She's about 8 inches tall. Is this Stranger Things crochet kit a buy or a pass? I think it's a great buy. The book is the star of the kit. It's a really great value. So buy the kit, use the materials in the kit, or use your own or use a mix. Go crochet Stranger Things characters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.